Hello and welcome
to
the show. So a few weeks ago now we did a video on the best value for money cars on Forza 5 and the overall winner was the Ariel Atom. This car costs 170,000 credits, which is not very much money for a car that is incredibly fast. I also said that I doubted you could go faster for less money. Even building a car, I didn't think you'd get one to go as quick as the Ariel Atom. Today, we are going to challenge that. We are going to try and build a car for 170,000 credits to go quicker than the Atom V8. Sounded like a rather impossible task, if you ask me. However, we're going to give it a go and see what we can do.
Especially when we were looking at all the cars and everything was a bit, maybe, could be.
Yeah, these are the cars that we ended up with. Husky has the camouflaged MX-5, and
Bottle rocket.
Yeah, and I'm driving the TVR Sagaris.
Yes. Now, my idea was lightweight thing, make it incredibly powerful, incredible four-wheel drive. So this was. It had the is it a tri-rotor or quad-rotor? I forget. The racing rotary. The racing rotary engine, it has 718 horsepower, which when it weighs 2,274 pounds is barely anything. 53% from weight, but the only problem with this car, as I found during the lap, was because of the four-wheel drive and having it a very short wheelbase, you understeer like that. And
I may have
go
not
everywhere.
stopped. It may have been, I may have missed a corner, but never mind.
Yeah, mine didn't do that. Mine had a very fine line between braking and not braking. If you were slightly like easy on the brakes, you weren't going to stop. If you were just that little bit too hard, it would lock up and you wouldn't stop. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But other than that, I could put the power down like mad.
Yeah, the four-wheel drive does give you a pretty big advantage in this.
In power.
On Forza 5, yeah, you put in your power down. On Forza 5, four-wheel drives are actually a sort of a fairly sensible choice. On 4, they understeered horribly. On 5, running a four-wheel drive car is not so much of a hindrance. Now, my vehicle is very distinctive. That's the word I think I was looking for.
Yes.
Is a 909 horsepower TVR Sagaris. Rear-wheel drive, of course.
Bit more power.
Just a little bit more power. Weighs 2,200 pounds, so it's roughly the same as the MX-5. When you think of putting 900 horsepower in a TVR, that's never going to end well, and this thing is incredibly hard to drive. It is faster in a straight line than the MX-5, as you can see, not by massive amounts. Both these cars are phenomenally quick. They do it about 195 by the end of that straight. They are very quick. The TVR is a little bit quicker. It has slightly better brakes as well, which is surprising. I wasn't expecting to be saying that. Of course, trying to put 900 horsepower down on the road out of a corner is you'll see every time we come out of a corner how much the MX-5 has gained in between the corners is ridiculous, and again down here.
Yes.
However, overtaking can be a little bit tricky. I've got a bit more straight line speed. The problem is, for Husky to get past, he ends up having to go offline, and in doing so makes the understeer of the MX-5 a little bit unhappy, which means I can basically irritate the MX-5 for a lap or two by just defending and making Husky go take different lines, take silly lines, and make it really quite difficult to pass. As you can see, still Husky's trying to find a way past up the inside, but because he's going to understeer, and I'll just have the position back. It's pretty brave go around. That's the power, that is sort of being able to put the power down.
Yeah, I was like, more power. We will not let this position go away.
Yeah, this is not what you want to do. Don't go around the outside in a 900 horsepower TVR. I back out of that one. I'm not going to be that stupid.
It's scary.
It is phenomenally scary.
I then kill the cameraman.
You take out a cameraman and run a little bit wide. I get in front. As we come into sort of very large braking zone into these final corners, you will see how much of a lead I have coming through this section. I've got a decent-ish size gap, and then try and put the power down, off goes the MX-5. The MX-5 just flies past. While, yes, I can irritate the MX-5 for a couple of laps, I can make it quite difficult for the MX-5 to get past. In the end, the MX-5 is quicker over the course of that. It can just use the power so much better. It's much easier using the power in the MX-5, whereas I have to be unbelievably cautious, as you can imagine, with a TVR. The TVR is also very unsettled through this sort of section. If it decides it's going wide here, I can't stop it. It just has a twitch. It has a sort of a nervous wobble.
Yeah, that was just with both of our cars. It was.
You've got to be very careful with them. So out of the two, the MX-5 is the faster. However, we are building these to see if they can go quicker than the Atom. So it was time to give the MX-5 a race. Now, admittedly, the MX-5 four-wheel drive launches very, very quickly. This Spa is a little bit of a funny track. There are lots of very, very long straights here, and the MX-5 is going to be quicker in a straight line. There's no doubt about that. The Atom tops out at about 170, or really struggles to get above 170, whereas the MX-5 and TVR will do 200 easy. However, the Atom should be a hell of a lot better through the corners. It's a lot lighter, it has less power, it should be able to put that power down, it should generally have more grip. Here is the problem. The Atom is actually not very good to drive. Yes, it has phenomenal brakes. It has incredibly good brakes. It has incredibly good turn-in. And then it has terrible oversteer, as you are about to see. That is what happens with an Atom. It's one of the weirdest cars to drive. The best way I can describe this car is it's the worst, best handling car in the game, if that makes sense. It has huge... The brakes are phenomenal on this thing. It gets stopped so quickly. It gets turned in, the front of the car gets turned in to every corner really, really well. And then the back end of the car decides to do its own thing. It's like the two parts of the car aren't connected. It's one of the trickiest and strangest cars to drive in the game. It's not sort of on power oversteered like with the TVR. I know what the TVR is going to do when I put my foot down. There's going to be many, many wheel spins, and it's going to be very hard to control. The Atom's not like that.
In my case, your eyes are going to be catapulted into the back of your head.
Yeah, with the MX-5, it'll just shoot forward very, very quickly. Yeah, the problem with the Atom is it's kind of this off-power oversteer that you get this very, very weird. It sort of changes as well. It's not kind of a constant. You're never quite sure what is going to happen when you turn into a corner with the Atom. Sometimes you'll get a lot of grip. Yes, you can carry a lot of corner speed with this car, don't get me wrong. It is very, very, very fast through the corners. The problem is it's so sort of unpredictable and unreliable trying to turn it through the corners. So we swapped places just to kind of see what would happen. You will see that after a while, once you start to get used to the Atom, you will get it through the corners very, very quickly. And you'll see now that your MX-5 was sort of struggling to keep up with the
through the corners.
Yeah. It's under brakes actually. Your MX-5 did rather well. I didn't think you were going to stop there. I thought I was going to have an MX-5 in the back of me at that corner.
It was close, but it was one of those. It's like, oh my god, stop, stop, stop.
Yeah, and you're never quite sure how you've actually got it stopped. But you'll see, like through this sort of middle section of the lap, the MX-5
I was going somewhere.
You were off to explore the scenery. The MX-5 does struggle to kind of keep up through here, but it's not massively struggling. And then it will come at some point to a very long straight, in which case the MX-5 will be gone, pretty much. Over the course of... we did 4 laps race with all of these. The MX-5 is slightly quicker than the Atom. Husky had to slow down to let me pass when we swapped positions for this. The MX-5 won the race easily. It'll get past the Atom just with its straight line speed, and it's not so terrible through the corners that it couldn't hold the Atom off. If this was on a very tight twisty track, I think the results would probably be the same. We swapped over, and this time it was my turn with the scary TVR to face off against Husky driving the Atom. My
turn in the first time I drove an Atom, it was like, here, buy one of these, oh lord. And immediately I found out about the very twitchy back end. It's because if you turn in with no power, you're going to slide. If you turn in with power, you're going to slide. If you turn in and with, you know, and all the planets are aligned and everything is happy, then you will get grip.
Yeah, that is a TVR Sagaris going through a corner. More composed and very highly modified TVR Sagaris. More composed than an Ariel Atom. I didn't expect to say that this morning. Well, I did because I was recording for this video. But when we filmed this, I didn't expect I would ever say a Sagaris was it's not better through a corner. If you get the Atom right, as you will see through some of these corners, you can see how much it closes up to the back of the Sagaris through here. The Atom is a lot better through the corners than the Sagaris. The problem is the Atom is unreliable. Sometimes it'll work.
Yeah.
I'm being really brave here. This is not a good idea, doing this. Going too wide through the corners.
And then
This is what happens.
Didn't.
Everything goes so well up until a point. I think that was the final lap of the race.
Yeah, that was the... I thought I had it. I was like, I've got him on the inside. We're going well, and then the Atom just decided to screw all that plan up.
Yeah, it was a much closer race between us. We had a pretty good race actually in that one. It was 3 or 4 laps of very close battling between the two cars, just for a little bit of fun. I told Husky to make the MX-5 rear-wheel drive because I thought you guys would like to see.
I didn't want to do this.
Don't
bring the audience into this. They don't know anything.
I said the audience would want to see the MX-5 rear-wheel drive. I'm sure you probably do. Or if you don't, you do now. This is what happens with the MX-5 is... how did that even just sort of suddenly veer to the left?
It decided.
Really
it was like, I want to go this way. And with that short wheelbase, by the time you're realising... oh no, we're going this way. You've already gone round, smashed into you, spun around and, said hello to the flowers.
And still you're having problems with it going sideways in a straight line. The MX-5 is rather tricky when it's rear-wheel drive and you're used to driving a nice, safe 4-wheel drive version and it's going off to play.
And
you're digging a hole in the scenery, pretty much.
And then I couldn't find the clutch. It was like, oh, hang on, there we go.
Yeah, clutch is a fairly important part of a car. So rear-wheel drive wise,
trying to make it not wheel spin.
Yeah, rear-wheel drive wise, the TVR is a bit better than the MX-5. As far as the actual challenge goes, if you take a small, light sports car, put a lot of power in, make it 4-wheel drive, for under 170,000 credits, you will go quicker than an Atom. Simple as that. You could use an MX-5, you could probably use an Elan or an MR2 or something along those lines. You will make it go around a track quicker than an Ariel Atom. You can just
still have a lot left over.
You will still have quite a lot. How much did your car cost in the end?
I had, because I did it a slightly different way than your calculations, I had 72,000 credits left.
So that's like 100,000 credits.
About 100,000, yeah.
Very, very good value for money. My TVR was a lot more expensive. I think it was 168,000 credits total to buy my car. Will it go quicker than an Atom? Or over the course of the lap? No, I don't think it would. While it has got huge straight line speed, the Atom was, as you can see, pretty much all over the back of it through the corners. The thing is, over the 4-lap race, I won in the end because Husky had a spin on the sort of third to last corner or whatever. And that is the problem with the Atom, is it is so unpredictable. It's a really tough car to drive. You could go and tune it, and you could probably fix it eventually after an awful lot of work. But you could do the same with my TVR. You could go and tune the TVR, and you could tune the MX-5, and you could make them quicker as well. We're doing this again. This happened a couple of times, trying to go too wide through here.
Yeah.
It was a great race actually between these two. It was very, very close. And the only reason I could keep up is because the Atom was so hard to drive, and partly to do with the huge straight line speed I had. So could you beat an Atom with a rear-wheel drive car? You probably could. There's a very big slide from the Atom. You probably could over the course of the race.
It was a bit scary.
It was very scary following you there. Over the course of the race, yes, you probably could, as the Atom is so hard to drive, and maybe with a different sort of variation or a different sort of rear-wheel drive car. In the end, the conclusion is yes, you can go quicker than an Atom for less money. You can go quicker than an Atom for an awful lot less money in the case of the MX-5, although quite a bit of that is down to the Atom being really rather hard to drive. However, that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.